So, for anyone that I haven't met or dealt with in the past, my name is Keith. I'm a customer service manager here at SEATS. Also on the call, we're going to have my colleague Neil. So I'm sure most of you've probably come across in the past. But I guess what's the biggest thing? What we'll be actually covering today. So what we're going to go through is basically learn how to best use SEATS, the leadership dashboards, along with a great feature called our Focus, along with a couple of stats to make data-driven decisions faster with just really less time wasted on administration work. We'll also cover just creating a perfect feedback loop between institutional excellence and staff student experiences, along with improvements in one benefiting the other. Lastly, making your own dashboard work for you. So it'll be all about saving custom views and just to highlight your own main interests.
So today we are going to talk a little bit about how SEATS can help leadership at every level within your institution stay on the same page and keep track of all the key lead indicators that they need in order to keep tabs on everything that's happening across campus and to make sure that your students are on track to graduate. So all the while making sure that the campus is being run as efficiently as possible. You will be able to keep a watchful eye on your KPIs. So if they're heading off track, along with seeing the progress of each school when it comes to any of those key platforms that you need to be aware of. So all of this is actually possible with very minimum effort using our Focus feature here within SEATS, and just really allows us to help all levels of leadership. So whatever your level, you'll have the ability to drill up and down through all the key metrics, just making it easier to identify how things are going. So if we were to start here with schools, now each of these schools, they would have a series of metrics set against it. So within this sample data provided here, you can see the number of students along with their average attendance. Figures here, probably typical enough considering a lot of students nowadays will be attending online, virtually. So that's pretty average for what you would expect. So let's say, for example, you're a course leader or a dean of school, maybe just someone with a general interest, and you're wanting to identify a slightly lower figure in a particular course. So if we take School of Computing Science here, just use this as an example, and if we wanted to dig down into that in some more detail, this here will be possible as well. So we can go ahead and select on Computer Science here. What this will do is it gives us a full breakdown of the course for each of the modules. So in this section, you can see each module along with the number of students that they have. Now, as you can see, attendance could probably be a little bit better, but perhaps online attendance isn't being tracked in this way. Now, with a tool like SEATS, you can easily track all manner of attendance. So whether it's physical or online, you would also have the capability of tracking a variety of placements or apprenticeships that would be held off-site. Now, if we wanted to dig down a little bit deeper, now we can find ourselves going in at the student level. So within here, we'll actually be able to see their level of engagement. So coming all the way from the top tier right down to here, and you can get a much better understanding of how your students are getting on, if there's any students that may be a cause for concern as well. But you can also view the likes of their current stage that they might be at. There's a visibility on any open cases. So it just makes it a lot easier for you to track any other issues that may be going on here at a student level that you may not necessarily be aware of. So this data being available in one place, it's invaluable for somebody who needs to be tracking across a whole series of personal duties as a personal tutor, or perhaps just as a student success culture advisor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring it into columns up here just to show just how you can kind of personalize your view as well. So all of your headings that you would see up along the top here, these can all be customized just to show the relevant data required for your particular role. So if you needed to move something just up into a better site for yourself, if you wanted to, say, add in their age. That will then come across here. You can move it back up a bit further up. Also, there are multiple different ones that you could find beneficial for you. Now, the one that we will look for will be in here, and it's for tags. So why would you necessarily be interested in tags? So we'll just save this view. Well, for instance, if you needed to be aware if students were under 18, if they're part of a particular cohort, and perhaps they're part of a particular demographic that you may consider just at risk before they even start at school or start at campus, it's just a nice, easy way to have visibility right here on your home screen. Now, with all of this data, it is coming through live, and it's very readily available, but also more importantly, it's easily accessible, and it's being driven by the student's own activity across campus. So for instance, if we were to click onto McGillis here, so as you can see, selecting on a student, you can now drill down into a little bit more detail. So it just allows you to track various information, just so you can build up a much broader picture of how the student is actually getting on. So as you can see, their full profile is available along with seeing data and activities just down here below. So that will build up their overall engagement score. Now, we also have access to the likes of their calendar. You can expand that out, so it's a nice, clear, concise view. Engagement here, weekly, monthly view, and you can click across into this section here. And there you go. It will just show you additional information that you may require. Within this section as well, if you did feel the need that you had to reach out and actually communicate with the student, it's all just done directly through these little tabs here. So for instance, if I click onto this one, you can send an email, add an absence, an activity. Perhaps you just want to add a note, add attachments, or you can actually open a case. So for the sake of this, we'll just say we want to send them an email. So whether this is you want to congratulate them on a job well done, update them about anything in particular, or if you just wanted to reach out to them, say for instance something wasn't going very well, and you do have a couple of templates here that you can actually work with, so you can customize it down to your own liking as well. So it just makes it all very, very simple and very easily accessible, which is the big thing. So that kind of shows us how everything comes together, how you can go from the top tier of your organization all the way down to a student level, just within a few simple clicks. So the most important piece of having all of this data, obviously, is having it to hand if and when you need it, just so it's actionable. Then obviously, depending on how you have it set up, you could have automated workflows operating in the background, and they can be triggered based on specific tolerances as well. So maybe it's a UKVI compliance related one. Could be down to student wellbeing scores. So you having access to this data at an early stage may actually mean the difference between that student re-engaging or alternatively walking out completely off campus. And as we know nowadays especially, retention is everything when it comes to modern education. So the fact that we can clearly see all of this data, have an automated action in the first instance, is imperative. All that time, leadership team, they can keep track of the activity, whether it's how many cases have been opened, how many students are improving upon their grades, what are their attendance levels like, are engagement levels slipping, have we got students dropping out. Having all of this information, and more importantly, being able to use it for driving better outcomes for your students, obviously, but all the while enhancing the reputation of your own institution, also while protecting the institution's revenue streams. So, kind of close things off, this is really how SEATS can help leadership teams and everybody else in your organization at every level who has accountability or managerial oversight over the engagement with students just to track and make sure the institution maintains good compliance records. They stay on track towards their KPIs, and most importantly, ensures the students have the best possible experience, which obviously drives everything that happens.
Maybe Neil, if there's anything that you might want to add at all to the session, by all means.
Hopefully all can see that certainly the dashboards within the SEATS application can really be tailored to a specific role that you have or would have within an organization. And certainly the focus option, certainly at management level, is a really easy tool to use to gain an insight into certainly attendance at the university. And certainly within a couple of clicks, you can have a real instant feedback within the dashboard itself. Should actually add as well that whatever dashboard you're actually in within the application itself, data is always exportable as well. So you can actually take that data. But for anybody that does know me, I'm an avid promoter of looking at data within dashboards, because that is real time. That is your real time update. So I think that was about the only other thing that I was going to add, is the ability to export data and potentially pass that on, perhaps to, from a compliance perspective, being able to pass that on, certainly within the UK from a compliance perspective, further afield. It's very easy to take that and provide it to external bodies.